Madam Chairman. I was probably a little naive in my hope that this motion would get cross-party support. This is a golden opportunity for the Cabinet Member for Transport to support the proposed community-based approach to delivering 20-mile-an-hour zones across Surrey in support of his own local transport plan. New Year's Day 2022, only 18 days ago, was the hottest on record with a temperature of 16.2 degrees in St James's Park, London, almost like a traditional English summer day. Scientists have revealed that 2021 was the 5th hottest year on record, which doesn't sound too bad, does it? Until you realise that the 7 hottest years on record were the last 7 by a clear margin. My grandson will be 11 years old in 2030, when he will no doubt look at what impact our various measures have had, and I suspect we will have much more evidence of the massive impact climate change will be having on the population of this planet. He might rightly ask the question, what was I doing back in 2022 when we knew how much impact we were all having on the climate, and why we'd not done more to address these issues? So, to remind the members, the residents of Surrey alone contribute about 20 million tonnes of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere each year, of which 6.6 million tonnes comes from direct activities such as heating our homes, transport and running our businesses. Our aim, as published in the Greener Futures Delivery Plan, is to get that to zero by 2050, a laudable approach. And to do that, we need to have reduced our emissions by between 1.3 and 2.8 million tonnes by 2025, mere 3 years away. Now, we all know the biggest issue in Surrey is the 46% of that 6.6 million tonnes per year comes from transport, and primarily motorised transport. And Surrey is quite unusual in the percentage that comes from that source. Why, you might ask? Because we have more roads, we have more cars per head of population, we have bigger cars, and we have more wealth in Surrey to pay for the fuel that drive those private cars, and therefore the carbon dioxide. 20-mile-an-hour zones bring a direct reduction in those emissions, but more importantly, in my view, 20 mile an hour is needed to help people feel safer in active travel, walking and cycling. This is an absolutely key element in reducing car usage. But remember, 90% of all those car journeys that we undertake are local journeys, less than 5 kilometres. Madam Chairman, I believe that every member will have areas where a 20-mile-an-hour zone has been requested or could be considered. But we all know that under the current policy, by the time the cost of the traffic speed measurement, the necessary traffic calming is considered, to meet the current policy requirements, that most, if not all of those schemes are financially unviable. As an example, in my own village of Horsell, the cost to do the full zone that is required to would run into hundreds of thousands of pounds, which means I'm never going to get it through the Joint Committee. Tory-controlled Cornwall, Wales, the Scottish borders, Lancashire, and more recently Cambridgeshire and Oxfordshire have either implemented sign-only or are looking at how to implement sign-only 20-mile-an-hour schemes. 28 million people in the UK live in areas currently where there is a 20-mile-an-hour zone or where it's proposed. Now in Wales, that's the whole of Wales, they're aiming at all roads that are currently 30 miles an hour should move to 20 miles an hour unless there's a good reason not to. But to be very clear, this motion is looking to get full community support for implementing these zones as a much better way to ensure that our residents buy into the schemes. This is the approach they're taking in Tory-controlled Cornwall. The experience from other schemes is that reduction of speed does occur with signage only. From detailed studies in the Scottish borders, an area not dissimilar to Surrey with a mix of villages and small urban conurbations, it showed a reduction of speeds of 3.1 miles per hour from 25 down to 22, but where there were higher average speeds, the impact is more like 5 to 6 miles per hour, so signage only does work. In my local Horsell village example, we have a signage only reduction in speed to 20 miles an hour, and the average reduction has been 2 miles per hour. That was from 23 down to 21. Where hotspots of higher speeds do occur, these could be dealt with by resident speed watch, or if absolutely necessary, by traffic calming. I want Surrey to be bold and to take the lead on climate change. We can continue to be in denial. We can ignore the clear facts that we've got to do something. These changes are not exactly groundbreaking, but will allow a conversation with our residents on what they can really do to start making a change in the place where they live. I would have hoped that the Cabinet Member for Communities, the Cabinet Member for Environment and specifically the Cabinet Member for Transport will give their support to this motion. I want to be able to say to my grandson when he's 11 that we did take action and we started a process in Surrey to actually make a real difference in the place where we live. It may have not been enough, but at least it was a start. Madam Chairman, we are elected members. We need to be seen to take the lead in our communities on climate, not just in creating the plans that may or may not deliver our greener future, but in doing something that is visible to our residents, that will make a difference in their everyday lives and will hopefully be a step to deliver that greener future we all want for our children and grandchildren. Members, I commend this motion to you.